John, can you give us your brief description about your current background, like your professional job that you're doing right now? I know it's a profession like off the record you were talking about. This professional job that you're doing right now, it's also your passion. So
yes,
yeah, give us a short summary of what is your current profession is.
Yeah, cool. First of all, thanks for having me on. Yeah, so currently I help entrepreneurs and business people to push past any limiting beliefs they might have in their own business or life, just give them a bit of confidence and support and accountability I like to use, just so they can move on and basically create a better life for themselves and improve the business. So yeah, business coaching and consulting is what I do currently.
Cool. Can you give us a why business coaching, like this whole thing of coaching, this whole space of coaching? There's so many different spaces that you can enter into. Why coaching? Yeah.
So basically, I've did a bit of a life pivot towards the end of last year. Well, a complete life pivot, really. I was in a business which I'd helped to build over the space of 15 years to quite a large group of businesses. So I know what it takes, and I know how difficult it is for businesses and the people in control of the businesses. It can be quite a lonely path. I used to find there's very little support. If you never had a good coach or mentor whilst you were building that business, everything that you did was learning by mistakes, which unfortunately can be quite painful and difficult and take a long time. So I like to use the reason I've chose sort of to help entrepreneurs and business people is because I know firsthand how difficult it is, and I've got a lot of experience of what to do, and more importantly, what not to do. So I'm massive on personal development as well. So I've got a wealth of knowledge of personal development, which I think helps. You can be a good businessman, but if you've not got that personal development aspect and you want to get better, you're just holding yourself back, in my opinion. So I try and help the whole package as such in my work.
Right. Can you give us a short summary of what is your mission of what you're trying to achieve right now?
So basically, as short and sweet, my mission is to help as many people as I can in personal development, leadership, and business. Because I know, like I said previously, having been there and seen it, I know how difficult it is. I know that there's a lot of people that are struggling with stress, lack of time, frustrated about money. So my mission is to help and guide these people along the way, because there's always help out there. It's just you've got to ask for it.
Right. I'd like to understand more about you. So can you give us the earliest context of your background, of yourself, that I need to understand and the audience needs to understand to know more about you?
Yeah, sure. So I'll go back to my journey properly started in the Royal Air Force. So I joined by accident, really. I'd gone with someone else who was joining the Royal Air Force and ended up joining myself, which was unexpected. So I spent just under 4 years training to be an electronics engineer. Really enjoyed that, and that's really where I learned a lot about discipline and processes and leadership. So left the Royal Air Force, started my own small electrical company. So I took exams to upskill to become an electrician as a civilian. Then fast forward 15 plus years. So the electrical business went into a construction company, which I helped to scale and build to quite a large business. We then acquired another couple of businesses that did supplying plumbing, pipe and things like that, and also into property development. And those businesses had a combined turnover of about £12 million. But along that way, I'd completely lost my passion, and everything I've just described about people being stressed, frustrated, unfulfilled, that was me. So I'd got to the point, probably 2 years, I was unhappy in what I was doing. And it came to a point where I just decided that's it. I just had to go, and I walked away from that business, or those businesses, to then follow my passion, which is ultimately is helping people. And that's what I do now, and that's what I love doing. So I don't class it as a job anymore. It's my mission, it's my passion of helping people.
If I was a fly in the room of John's room, of the day where you felt no motivation and that you don't want to do the job that you're doing, like what can I see in your head during that time?
Confusion, frustration, fear, because as you can appreciate, I was financially secure, business is doing well, to then massive leap of faith. And it was just, I think I remember it, I was with the family in the car and we were driving somewhere, and I got a phone call about, we were in the construction industry, and it was a phone call about a call out, a problem at a job. There was a leak in a property, and I was one of the business owners. So we employed managers and different levels of people to deal with those problems. And for me to get a call on a weekend about a leak, there was failures on several different levels, and it just seemed like my frustration boiled over. And it was that minute when I thought, that's it, I can't do it anymore. And that's when I started the ball rolling of just left within a couple of months. And it was like a massive weight had been lifted off my shoulders, because the amount of pressure at that point, I think we had over 100 staff. We were dealing with over 100 subcontractors on top of that. It was a big machine, which, the thought, as soon as you woke up in the morning, I was never having holidays. I remember I was lucky enough to go to Disneyland one year, and we were stood in the queue for the Haunted Mansion, and people were ringing me with issues at home, in the business. And that was sort of a culmination of frustration, anger. It was just a nightmare towards the end.
What caused the anger?
I think it was probably angry with myself, because I knew I needed to make a change, not just for myself, because what tends to happen is when you are feeling like that, and you've got the anger, you've got the frustration, you've got the stress, you take it out on your family. your closest, your nearest and dearest. And that was what I was doing. I was always had a short temper with my family. So even if we were out, like I mentioned there, on a holiday, if I was to get a phone call, my mood would then switch and I'd be in a bad mood then for the rest of the day, which was unfair on my family. So it was that sort of probably more angry with myself that I didn't make this decision sooner. So it was literally 40, turned 40 last year. And I probably should have made this decision years ago. So it's more angry with myself, really.
What sort of expectations were you having then? Because you feel angry about yourself. Like, is there some sort of expectations that you are expecting yourself to do then?
100%. Yeah. So I've always felt that I was capable of a lot more, and where I was in that position, I was basically just firefighting. We were running a business, but I wasn't working to my full potential because I was felt in a way of being held back, because you're dealing with daily issues of staffing issues, HR problems, in something that I'm not passionate about. I just felt that it was just like weighing me down.
There's a lot of people talking about this not truly living. It's because you are constantly attending to the meetings, the messages, the calls, the everything, the non-doing, And was there something that you were kind of like thinking about, like, this is not the life that I want to live. I want to truly live the life that actually help others, for example, and not trying to put it in your mouth. Like, what is the thing that make you want to do what you do today?
I think the biggest one is no regrets. It was getting to a point where it was monotonous. So every day was very, very similar. Problems, issues, or generally always reactive. And I'd always, like I said, always felt, I'd read a lot of personal development books over the last probably 10 years. So all that's in your mindset of there's got to be more to life than this. And I was seeing, I think when you get to 40 as well, you start seeing other people not fulfilling themselves, and everyone's always, I wish I'd have done that. I used to work a lot in care homes, and when you speak to those people, the general gist is, I wish I'd have done that. I wish I'd have done this, but they never got a chance to do it for whatever reason. They never took that leap of faith. They never took the risk, and they always lived that life of regret, which that's something that I'm massive on.
When was the key moment that made you really want to make the shift during then?
I think it was just a pressure point, if you will, like a volcano always building. And
right.
That's what I try and teach people at the minute. Instead of letting it get like that, it's releasing that pressure valve, slowly over time, so you can make a more informed decision. Whereas I was, like I say, in that moment in the car where I'd got that phone call about a leak, which was madness for me. So that should have gone to a supervisor, a manager, his line manager, before it got to me, because we employed these people to do these jobs, but that never happened. So that was the moment that I just said, that's it. but that was just the pressure building, because it's a relatively small incident, really, isn't it? Someone ringing me on a weekend when I'm with the family, but that used to happen all the time. So it was building and building and building until that was it. I had enough.
Right. During then, you mentioned that you are rather short-tempered. How is your relationship with your close ones, your family?
Now,
During then, yeah.
during then, so yes, we used to, me and my wife used to argue, not a lot, but so I would come home, I would tell her about my day, and then I would be stressed out. She would try and help, but I wouldn't listen because I thought I knew best in that situation. And we'd have a bit of an argument, and that would happen a few times a week. And obviously we've got two young girls, and then they would get upset if we were arguing. And then now it's just, we don't argue at all. It's such a night and day situation now at home. It's unbelievable, just from the pressure of leaving something that I wasn't happy doing.
I'm glad to hear that the situations of your relationship has improved since then. Were you thinking about the relationship that was that part of the equation that you are thinking of doing then? Because you're thinking about you being angry all the time, and are you sort of like bringing the work back into your home and bringing to your family? Like,
yes, definitely. So my number one core value is family. So that was big on my radar, that I don't want my girls growing up in a household that's, full of negative energy, full of shouting and arguing. So that was my number one priority. So, and my family, then myself and my own headspace. So that was the sort of order it went in.
I like to understand even earlier context of yourself. Were you sort of this sort of negative energy when on how you are being brought up, or you only achieve the level of positive energy during now? Like bring me back into how you were being brought up. Like, how was it like in your family back then?
Yeah, it's good. My dad was a policeman, and my mum, they met in the police, my mum and dad. And then my mum left the police when she got pregnant with my sister, and it was a normal childhood as such. My mum's really positive. I think I get a lot of my positivity from my mum, and yeah, that's that sort of willingness to help people. That's sort of on my mum's side, and she definitely helped me more as a childhood, because my dad was working a lot. He did a lot of shift work in the police. So yeah, she definitely gave me a lot of my positivity and a lot of my good traits, and willingness to learn. She loves to learn, my mum, and that's where I've got that from as well, I think.
How did you do in the schools back then?
Yeah, schools was good. My reports were always, he could try harder, he's capable of a lot more. And I didn't really try in my exams, but I got decent grades. and I never went to college. So I always wanted to do a technical job, learn a trade. So I went to a couple of, tried to get apprenticeships with electrical companies and gas companies, but they weren't taking on at the time. Got a couple of jobs just to earn some money. And then that's when I joined the Royal Air Force.
Right. It seems like you were already very disciplined back then, and that you are just thinking about the money. Is that is money was money an issue back in the days?
At home with mum and dad.
Right. So it wasn't that much of an issue. It's just that you're thinking of like just finding an option for you to earn the money and then get out of it.
Yeah. So that's what I just wanted to get a construction background really. That was what I wanted to do, but there just wasn't any jobs going at that point. So that, I suppose that's why I went with my friend to join, who he was joining the Air Force. That was never my intention, but then I found out that they do training as well, and that's where I started my electronics and electrical journey.
Right. Cool. What will you say that you will? What sort of advice will you like someone to give you back in the days before you actually joined the engineering, the Air Force career? Because it seems like you're kind of just following your friend to get into there, just have a job, earn some money. What can a person go to you and give you the what sort of advice that you really want to have?
I think, me personally, I would have liked someone to say, find a good mentor. Find someone who's successful, who you can learn from. Because I say that because I've never had that person. And if you read a lot of the books, everyone seems to have had that person who, gave them some insight in the best way to do things. So I think that would be a good bit of advice that I would give to people. Try your best to find a good mentor who can help you.
Is there anyone who inspires you?
Currently, there's a lot of people that inspire me. Gary Vee, Jocko Willink, James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy, David Goggins. Loads. There's quite a lot of people at the minute that I really look up to and like what they're doing, because they've got that message, they've got that passion that, it's right. It's what I'm all about.
If you were to name just one key figure that helped you the most, who will it be?
I would say probably Jocko Willink and his books, the two books that he's wrote, Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership. Those two books have really sort of helped, and I just find a lot of value in what he says and his whole ethos of, discipline equals freedom. That takes me back to the Air Force days. I think that's where the discipline really kicked in for me, and I just think it helps everything. If you've got that discipline, it helps everything in your day. And I just think, I would say Jocko.
Right. Discipline. It seems like it's huge factor in your life that actually push you through, even back in the Air Force days? Like how has it helped?
I think discipline. So over the last few years, I've started doing a lot of endurance racing, and I did an Ironman last year. I just think it helps in every element of your life. Discipline, whether it's business, making your power list, doing those extra calls, doing what you're supposed to be doing, fitness. If you've got a goal that you want to reach or an event, you need to be disciplined in how you go about that. I just think it helps so much in every aspect of your life.
Right. Particularly in the Air Force, right? Because you mentioned discipline multiple times, like specifically for the Air Force, like how has it helped?
So I think that's where I learned as well to look after myself. So you learn a lot about washing clothes, ironing clothes, but basic things that just gives you a good background in a bit of confidence building. It gives you that confidence that you know you can look after yourself. It gives you that physical aspect of fitness, so you've got that more well-rounded approach to things. You don't generally find many lazy people that have come out of the forces. So I just think it was massive for me to give me that push and discipline and drive to try and succeed in my own life.
Right. What does success means to you right now?
Success for me right now means inspiring others. It means making my family proud and making myself proud. I would say that's what success means to me currently.
Family seems to be a big part of your life. Is it why? Why is it of like the one of the highest priority in your life?
I just want to be a good role model, and like I say, I go back to the helping people. I just want to give them the best chance possible to find their own passion in life. Because again, going back to me not finding my passion and spending years and years trying to find it, I think I just want to be able to give them options to try as many different things as they can sooner rather than later, so they can really find their passion and just have a lot more happiness really in their life sooner. Because that's another thing. I just find that a lot of some people never find their passion, and which is so sad, because they've probably not had the opportunity to try other things to try and find that passion.
How much is it particularly? Because I'm sensing that you are feeling a bit of regret, a bit of disappointment in yourself, that you really want to help others. You don't want others to sort of feel how you felt back then. That's the energy that I'm sensing from you, and that you sort of have this mission that you want to help others not to get into this negative state of not being able to find your passion and not able to strive for yourself. How much of it is this sort of energy that's why you're doing what you're doing today, which is helping others. And we're not talking just about your family, it's also other people, the people around you. Like how much of it is because of this reason?
I think a lot of it is for that reason, because like I said before, I just know how difficult it is being in that situation, and it's took me till I was 40 to make that decision to try and find my passion, and knowing that there's people out there that I know there's people out there that are super frustrated, super annoyed. Again, these same exactly feelings I was going through, and emotions of disappointment with themselves. They'll be having the same arguments at home, stressing about money because they're not earning enough money. They're doing too many hours, and that I just wish I never regret anything, because I believe that we are exactly where we should be in life, and everything I've learned in the past is exactly for helping others in the future. But I do wish a bit that I could have done this a lot sooner.
Right, doing it sooner. Like say for example, if I'm a person who is currently listening to this whole conversation, and I have something that I really want to do, and I'm stuck in a job that I really hate, and say if I leave the job and I'm 2 months in and I'm thinking, yo, this thing is hard, I'm not earning enough money, this thing is hard, I have the relationship that I need to think of, should I go back to where I was working, where I was not feeling satisfied and what's not, since this whole thing is so hard? Like what will you say to this person?
It's all about risk initially. So it's a conversation of what, instead of taking that full plunge first and leaving your job, it's what are you passionate about first? What can we look at that you can start doing an hour on an evening or sometime on a weekend, where you can start building a bit of a side hustle, as they call it, to eventually take over your income, so you've got more confidence in leaving what you're doing. Nothing's going to come easy, and it's going to take a bit of time. But if you are that dead set on finding your passion and doing something that you love to do and having no regrets, it's going to take a bit of work in the first instance, but it is possible. What I'm trying to get across to people is it is possible. There's always a way. It might be going to networking meetings where you meet other people that will give you opportunities. You can do that in your spare time. So it's just doing a bit of a risk assessment of where you are, what your needs are, how much money you need to survive, impact on relationships, and then making a plan to implement it. And it's just taking action on that plan. We can all make plans and goals, but if we don't take action at some point, that's all they are, isn't it? A dream is just a dream without action.
Right. What drives you? What things motivates you? You've been here for 12 months. It must be hard.
Yeah, it's hard. But it's exciting. I'm one of those people that likes to solve problems, and I know there's a solution to every problem, and I will find it. So that's why business now is starting to get traction and get going, which is brilliant. But it's finding those problems to the solutions which really does motivate me.
What's behind this strong, passionate energy that I'm sensing today, or from you, because I can definitely feel the drive that you're having, on wanting to keep on going, looking forward for the next day, for the next 2 days, for the next 1 year, 10 years. What's behind all this?
I just feel that I'm capable of a lot more, and that's what I'm pushing every day. I just want to be better than yesterday, and that's what I keep doing. I keep turning the screw because I know deep down I'm capable of a lot more.
How is your how is your family, the environment around you helped you?
Massively, if I'm honest. So I've got a supportive wife, for one, because as you can imagine, walking away from financial security is not an easy decision, and she was so supportive and continues to support me. My kids, again are just brilliant. And they've got to know them a lot more over the past 12 months, just because I'm here a lot more and I can take them to school and we have a good conversation. So yeah, they've been massively supportive of my harebrained ideas.
It seems like you appreciate your wife a lot. You mentioned her on how she has actually helped you during your Air Force days. And until now, you're still saying that she's still very supportive for you to make the change. What role has she played during then until now?
She's been a sounding board for all my stresses, all my problems, and she's always had faith in me, which is brilliant, and sort of, you know, something I'll never forget how supportive she is, because there has been dark days where the stresses have just been immense, you know, problems, issues. So yeah, her support, and she will call me out as well on my own. If she'll know when I'm putting something off, and she'll tell me, and then that'll give me the drive to overcome that. So it's good to have like a bit of an accountability partner as such.
Right. Because back then, you said you weren't at the best state of mind during the Air Force days. Like, what sort of situation was it like back then? Because you probably you mentioned that you guys were quarreling about stuff because you weren't in your best state of your mind. Like how was the dynamics like, and how did she responded, and how did you act?
Yeah, so when business was at its high pressure point, we would argue, because I would just take out my frustrations on her. Looking back now, you know, it's not something I'm proud of, because she was only ever trying to help me and give me good advice. So it would sometimes we wouldn't speak for a week because I'd upset her that much. So it was, I know I mentioned before, I said I don't have regrets, but that is something I'm not very proud of, how I reacted to her when she was only ever just trying to help me.
Right. Like what has changed since then till now? Because your relationship definitely has improved, I feel like. Why has changed from then to now?
Just the release of pressure has changed my outlook, has changed all my relationships. It's just changed everything really. Just that not having that pressure every minute of the day of a business that I wasn't happy in, that I wasn't passionate about. It's just made a complete 180-degree change in my life, in my relationships, in my work, what I do. It's just been a massive turning point.
What perspective has changed? Like, what outlook of life has changed?
Now I look forward to life. I look forward to what's coming next. I know there's good things on the horizon. Whereas if you'd have asked me that 12 months ago, I would not have been able to give you that answer, because I was dreading the following day. I didn't, I knew there was going to be issues, so I wasn't looking forward to life. But now my perspective is just, again, completely different. I'm just ready for action. I'm ready to carry on. I'm ready to do more. So yeah, massive change in perspective for the better.
Do you think that people should actually they should go through this journey, go through this hardship for them to actually realize, yo, I should stop doing this? Or you think that someone can just give the advice and then you learn through it?
It's a good question. It's because a lot of time you do learn a lot from your mistakes. But I think it's just having that balance of knowing early enough that this isn't right for you, this isn't right for your family, and asking for support, or asking for someone who's been in that situation, who can tell you how things are going to pan out. I think it's vitally important to always seek advice and seek help, because if you haven't got that support in place, there's all kinds of roads you could go down which aren't the best. So I think the sooner you can ask for help and advice, the better.
Right. Family, it's a big thing in your life. So when you have your firstborn child, like, how has it changed your life?
Well, as soon as you see them, everything changes. Really, it's not you anymore; it's them. They are the number one priority. Protecting them, making sure that they're okay, they're happy, that becomes the main priority. And even so, my eldest daughter's 15 now, and that's not changed. In fact, I'm probably more protective nowadays. So it just changes everything. You become a protector, but I wouldn't change that for the world.
Because there must be a lot of time that you got to commit to your family, right? Especially when you have your firstborn. Like, how do you balance the life then between your family and work?
That's probably one of the most difficult things, because it's always you need money to support the family, so you have to go out to work, which means you don't see the family. So that is always the most difficult part, because you want to be with them, but you can't as much as you want because you've got to earn the money. And so that was always the difficulty. I missed a lot of Christmas parties and Christmas plays at school, the school sports days. I've missed a lot of those, but now I'm trying to make up for that. You know, for the years that I've missed out on, I'm trying to make up on that.
Right. Moments like these sort of events like Christmas and whatnot, are those moments where you feel one of your happiest?
Yes, yeah. Now I'm looking forward to life. I'm excited for things. Definitely Christmas now I enjoy a lot more. Everything, my enjoyment and my feeling of this is where I should be. It's just right up there now at a good level.
What is the headspace like when you're in that moment of you enjoying?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's something that it is new. It's newish to me because from previous, it's all new, and I you know I love it when we're all together and we're doing something. We try and do it, like I say, we try and do a lot more things together now. But yeah, it's pure enjoyment, and yeah, brilliant. Just love it.
Cool. So you currently have 2 of your daughters, right? 2 children.
Yeah.
What sort of like knowledge do you want to pass down to them, especially for someone whose expertise is in helping others? What sort of knowledge are you passing down to your children?
This is the difficulty I'm finding at the minute, because I'm trying to tell them and help them with things, but they don't want to listen. So what I'm trying to do is sow little seeds, and some things they do take on board, and you know, about enjoying yourself, being nice to people, not getting into arguments, not gossiping about people behind the back, all like basic stuff which is going to help them make more friends and be more sociable. I'm not going too in depth with discipline and things like that at the minute, because I know they definitely won't respond to that.
Being nice to people, like why that? Kindness, it feels like a kindness is like a big part of the thing that you're currently teaching them. Like, why of all things kindness?
I think it's very important, and it's something that I think is lacking in society sometimes these days. You know, there's a lot of negativity, and people aren't happy, and they're sort of bringing that unhappiness outside in how they deal with people and how they deal with situations. So I think that the nicer we can be, and the more kind we can be to others, it's just hopefully that would rub off on them and give them a bit of a different outlook on life.
Right. What sort of passion do you wish for them to have? You know, or is it just like you just do whatever you want, kind of thing?
I like them. I want them to try as many different things as they can, so they can try. Like my eldest now is very good at art, and she's very creative, so she likes music and art. So I want her to explore that as much as possible. So, you know, if she can make a career out of that, brilliant. My youngest she's 10, so she's still finding her feet a bit. But I just want to give them the opportunity and the confidence just to try as many different things as they can. They might not like them, they might not like everything, but at least they've tried it. That's my main thing. As long as they try it, if they don't like it, that's fine. They can move on to something else until they find something they're passionate about.
Right. Right. Thank you for sharing for this whole spectrum, this whole range of topics and things that we have actually talked about. And I think that it's important to discover sort of like your background onto who you are today and the mission that you want to achieve today as well. Like what sort of things have we not actually talked about, that the things that you are is actually hot in your mind, especially at this current stage of your mind, 12 months into your sort of new passion or leap of faith that you are entered? Like what is the biggest thing that we have not covered today?
I'm seeing a lot of people with lack of confidence at the minute, and I don't know why that is. I'm just trying to. I'm helping a few people with techniques on how to become more confident, but I don't know whether it seems like after the lockdowns and everything like that through COVID, there's been a lot of people that have started to lack in confidence through lack of interaction. You know, anxiety in social situations because that was taken away. But yeah, I think trying to help people build confidence and be more happy within themselves, I think as well it needs talking about a lot more, because it is some people get embarrassed about, you know, if or it's a topic some people don't like to talk about. In not many people will say, oh, I don't want to go there because I'm not comfortable in social situations. They'll just say, oh, I don't want to go. So it's just speaking about confidence a bit more and finding out why that is and putting tools in place that we can help.
Why do you think people are not feeling confident these days? Is it because of social media, a range of things that is happening right now? People are staying more indoors these days. Why do you think people are feeling this way?
All of the above, I think. I think it's a compound effect of a few different areas. Yes, definitely social media, because whether people feel that seeing a certain lifestyle on social media is the only way to live, and if they're not doing that, then you know they're a failure, which is 100% not true. But yeah, I think there's definitely a compound effect from social media, world events. Yeah, definitely.
Right. What sort of how do you think that you will try to actually help people to become more confident these days, especially on your coaching style and stuff?
It's trying to get people to be proud of themselves, be happy with in their own skin, and realize exactly all the good things that they do. A lot of people tend to focus on the negatives, so they could do 10 good things in one day, but if they have one challenge, they focus on that one challenge. So it's trying to reverse the mindset where they're constantly reviewing the wins and the good things, so they're fresh in their mind, and then that'll give them a bit more confidence. And it's just then a slow and steady process of, you know, positive encouragement, reinforcement, support, and a bit of accountability to give them a bit of a push.
Right. Cool. So we have this closing tradition for this podcast, and I want to ask you, how are you doing at this phase of your life? Because everyone has like different a very different phase of their life. Like especially for yourself, it's like before the 12-month period during the Air Force, and right now this phase. And there's like happy phase, sad phase, and some phase that you're super excited. Like, how are you doing right now at this current phase of your life?
Currently, I am excited. I'm excited about the future. I'm looking forward to life itself. I feel like I'm just getting started. Like a new man, basically. That's how I'm feeling at this stage of my life. Although I am 40, I feel like my life is just getting started.
Why are you excited?
Because I feel there's a lot of opportunities out there for me to help people, through social media now, because like I say, I've never used social media before, really. It's only the last probably 5-6 months that I've started to find my feet on it and utilize it to help people. And then that's only then when you realize how many people you could actually help. So yeah, definitely that.
How does the day actually look like if say you help maybe say 1 million people that you actually can visibly see, and that day you saw 1 million people that you have helped? How will you feel?
I would feel happy. I would say, how do we help 2 million people?
Always looking forward.
Always looking forward.
Right. Cool. Yeah. I find you to be, never giving up. That is the energy that I'm sensing from the start of the conversation till now. And that it seems like there are flaws and mistakes that you acknowledge and that you sort of try to overcome, and that you're willing to own your mistakes, and then you never give up and you try to push on. And in fact, till now, that you actually want to help people who actually suffered the mistakes that you suffer, so that you don't want them to actually follow the footsteps that you are actually facing back then. And I find that to be a really meaningful mission that you are trying to achieve till today. And 12 months in, and not giving up, I really think that it's a really meaningful process that you are going through right now. And like what you said, you're just starting out, and I can feel the energy that you will keep on going and striving and driving for this mission that you're trying to achieve. So thank you for joining us for this podcast today, and I really have a great listen.
No, it's been a pleasure. Some great questions as well. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.